Hello, welcome back to Ben Keenan Just Can't Stop Talking. Happy Tuesday, February 11th to you and yours, and an even happier Cowboy Carter pre-sale day. If you're like me, you got your tickets, you're ready to go. I cannot wait until May. We will figure out what I'm wearing as we get closer because that's too many thoughts for one day. I don't know if you can see from this angle, I'm wearing a heated blanket on my lap, and I will not be apologizing for it because it is like 30 degrees in Seattle right now, and I cannot stop shivering sitting at my desk. So if you can see it, ignore it. If you can't see it, pretend like I never said that. All right, per usual, we're going to jump right in with the news that you missed overnight. So overnight on Monday. So starting with overnight on Monday, 4:50 p.m., Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth signed a new memorandum renaming Fort Liberty in North Carolina back to Fort Bragg, which is what it was before Biden renamed it to Fort Liberty, though he claims that this time it's no longer named after the former Confederate General Braxton Bragg, but instead they found a different Bragg, Roland L. Bragg, who was actually a World War II hero who earned the Silver Star and Purple Heart for his exceptional courage during the Battle of the Bulge. So apparently it cost $2 million to change this name back. I just don't understand why it's so important to some of these people, especially when they're just going to use a similar name, maybe like wink wink. It wasn't about the guy who was in the Confederacy, but of course, as you could expect, some of the worst people outlets like the Federalist had something to say. Senior editor John Daniel Davidson said, quote, "What deceitful, insulting cowardice this is. They didn't change it back. They changed it to a World War II hero who happened to also be named Bragg, so they wouldn't have to defend the Confederate name. This breaks trust and sends a signal. They won't really fight for our common heritage." Not me agreeing with the guy who speaks like that, except I do need it on the record where my point was, why the fuck are you doing this just so you can like rename it and slip it past the people who may not be knowing and they think you did something great? Like, okay, loser behavior. The other guy was pissed because he's like, how dare you not rename it to a Confederate soldier? You guys, this timeline is not the timeline I want to be in anymore. All right, 5:10 p.m., a federal judge temporarily blocked the National Institutes of Health from enacting Trump's cuts to research funding in 22 states. 5:20 p.m., 15 cases of measles have been reported in a small West Texas county that just so happens to have a high rate of vaccine exemption. Please go get vaccinated. 6:20 p.m., the CDC says that a new strain of bird flu has been detected in a Nevada dairy worker. Once again, please go get vaccinated. 8:51 p.m., Donald Trump stopped all enforcement of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act by the Justice Department. So I looked it up. The Foreign Corrupt Practices Act of 1977 is a United States federal law that prohibits U.S. citizens and entities from bribing foreign government officials to benefit their business interests. Like, I'm not accusing one person of anything, but why the fuck would Donald Trump stop enforcement of this by the Justice Department? I'm just saying, if they're telling you what they're doing out loud with real words, just listen. Just listen. 9:36 p.m., Elon Musk's team said that they slashed more than $900 million last night in the education department contracts, though they declined to give details about what the contracts actually cut. So reporters got a hold of the list, as you would expect that they would, because there are leakers everywhere and Trump's going to get all pissy about this. But according to The Guardian, this essentially wiped out the entire federal agency's Research and Statistics Office, one of the country's largest funders of education research. The Institute of Education Sciences gathers and disseminates data and research on a variety of subjects, including but not limited to the state of U.S. education achievement, school crime and safety, and high school science course completion. Their research is also used widely by educators, state and local departments of education, school districts, colleges, and other researchers. So Elon Musk just thought that this was waste or fraud or corruption. I would like an answer to which one of those falls under that category. 10:02 p.m. Remember that jet that crashed that I told you about yesterday in Scottsdale, Arizona by running into the other jet? Well, we learned last night that the jet is actually owned by lead singer of Motley Crue, Vince Neil, but he was not on board at the time. That's all the information I have about that. At 12:42 a.m., the European Union officially vowed that the U.S. tariffs that Trump put into place yesterday on steel and aluminum, quote, will not go unanswered, saying that they will trigger tough countermeasures from the 27-nation bloc. So now we're in a trade war with Canada and Mexico and China, 27 members of their European Union. So basically any country in Europe that you can name except for like Russia. Is that technically Europe or Asia? And then, we're trying to take Greenland and we're trying to take Panama. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? anymore. Okay, that was all the nightmares that we dealt with last night, so let's move into Tuesday morning. Starting at 4:31 a.m., Pope Francis sent a letter to U.S. bishops decrying mass deportations in the U.S., rejecting, quote, any measure that tactically or explicitly identifies the illegal status of some migrants with criminality, saying instead we should act like the Good Samaritan. And you know what, Pope Francis? I agree. At 4:36 a.m., the Trump administration decided that they were going to ignore the court order from last night, maintaining the funding freeze at the National Institutes of Health, in defiance of not one, but two federal court orders. People are already calling this a constitutional crisis, but we'll see how far this actually goes. The Supreme Court will likely have to touch it, so we'll see what happens. 5:06 a.m., former Biden Secretary of the Interior and former New Mexico Congresswoman Deb Haaland officially launched her bid for governor of New Mexico.
I'm Deb Haaland. In my life, I've learned that nothing comes easy. Moving around a lot as a kid in a military family, raising my child on my own, achieving 35 years of sobriety.
6 a.m. Remember that Chinese spy balloon that Biden shot down sometime in 2023? Well, according to the Daily Mail, investigators discovered that the balloon was secretly equipped with US-made technology. Military analysts who dismantled the balloon found it was loaded with American-made satellite communication modules and sophisticated sensors from at least 5 different US companies, as reported by Newsweek. So, just an FYI, this was reported on by Newsweek, Daily Mail, Fox News, New York Post, Unilad. You know, take all of this with a grain of salt. Good reporting, bad reporting, those are the only ones that have reported on it so far. Grain of salt. 6:12 a.m., more than 24 U.S. religious groups have sued the Trump administration to protect houses of worship from immigration raids. 7:18 a.m., Trump ally and right-wing podcaster and provocateur Steve Bannon pleaded guilty to first-degree scheme to defraud in his Manhattan case, admitting he scammed supporters of Trump's immigration policies during Trump's first term. 8:04 a.m., Duolingo announced that their sassy owl mascot, Duo, passed away. Their tweet read, "It is with heavy hearts that we inform you that Duo, formerly known as the Duolingo owl, is dead. Authorities are currently investigating his cause of death, and we are cooperating fully. TBH, he probably died waiting for you to do your lesson, but what do we know? We're aware he had many enemies, but we kindly ask that you refrain from sharing why you hate him in the comments. If you feel inclined to share, please also include your credit card number so we can automatically sign you up for Duolingo Max in his memory. We appreciate you respecting Dua Lipa's privacy at this time." I'm hoping this is something like that Mr. Peanut commercial over the Super Bowl where they killed him and then he came back as Baby Peanut. Baby Duolingo owl will be hilarious. 8:11 a.m. BuzzFeed CEO Jonah Peretti announced that BuzzFeed is developing a new social media platform aimed at spreading joy and enabling playful, creative expression. He said, quote, "This social media platform will use AI to give users agency instead of stealing their agency. I'm fed up with giving the platform companies advice on how to fix the internet. If we want this done right, we have to do it ourselves. I don't have any idea what this app is going to be like. I don't know if I can even do another app at this point, but we'll just have to wait and see, won't we?" 8:28 a.m. Georgia Republican Congressman Buddy Carter introduced legislation authorizing President Trump to acquire Greenland, renaming it Red, White, and Blue Land. God, these people are just so unbelievably cringe. It should also go without repeating. No one wants this. Greenland doesn't want this. The majority of the United States doesn't want this. It would literally be invading Greenland. So Trump wants to put us in war? I don't understand. It's stupid. 8:32 a.m. United Health hired a defamation law firm to go after social media posts criticizing the company. 9:04 a.m. A federal judge ordered that the Trump administration restore public health web pages that it abruptly deleted last month until further litigation plays out. That's going to be good for us, especially with all this bird flu stuff. The CDC will be back online. Also at 9:04 a.m., The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives star Jennifer Affleck announced that she and her husband Zach are pregnant with their third baby. 9:23 a.m. Whistleblowers have come forward to say that the Trump nominee for the head of the FBI, Kash Patel, who notably has not been confirmed and is still a private citizen, directed the purge of FBI employees and lied to Congress in his confirmation hearing for FBI director, saying that he wasn't aware of any plans to fire FBI officials when several whistleblowers said that they have been directly in contact with him about the firings. Illinois Democratic Senator Dick Durbin then asked watchdogs to start investigating this accusation. 9:35 a.m. Diddy has been accused of raping a male street performer in a new lawsuit. 9:36 a.m. Actress Jackie Cruz, best known for her role as Flocka in Orange is the New Black, is pregnant with her third child with her husband Fernando Garcia. 9:52 a.m. on the Louis Theroux podcast episode that published today, Armie Hammer revealed that he once took a bite out of a living animal's heart, saying it was, quote, a male rite of passage. As a male, I've never had that rite of passage, and neither have any of the males that I know, but I just don't think it goes and does a whole lot to dissuade those cannibalism rumors for Armie Hammer, does it? 10:20 a.m., the White House announced the release of Mark Fogel, an American teacher detained by Russia. The White House statement stated in part, quote, President Trump, Steve Witkoff, and the president's advisors negotiated an exchange that serves as a show of good faith from the Russians and a sign we are moving in the right direction to end the brutal and terrible war in Ukraine. Though they didn't mention what they exchanged Mark Fogel for.
Mark Fogel will be at the White House tonight at about 10 o'clock. If you want to come over, you can say hello to him.
Did you guys get anything in return?
Not much. No, they were very nice. We were treated very nicely by Russia, actually.
At 11:20 a.m., the FDA released a notice that canned tuna sold at Trader Joe's, Costco, and H-E-B with Best By dates in 2027 and 2028 are being recalled for a risk of botulism. At 10:33 a.m., Bon Iver announced a new album called Fable, which will be coming out on April 11th, with a new single, Everything is Peaceful Love, coming out this Friday. 12:10 p.m., NBC's Dateline will be expanding to Telemundo, making it the first time the show is being syndicated in another language in its 33 years on air. 12:50 p.m., Donald Trump signed an executive order directing federal agencies to comply with all the Doge stuff that Elon Musk is doing. In response to a question about the criticism, this is what Elon Musk had to say.
Detractors, Mr. Musk.
What?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted, we have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We won the House, we won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what the people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see how much the public actually tolerates of what Elon is doing versus what it would have hypothetically looked like when they were on the trail, right? Because my guess is they never thought they signed up for this level of shit. 1:14 p.m., singer Colton Pack and his wife Lauren gave birth to their third baby. Damn, there are a lot of third babies today. Like, is this all y'all are doing anymore? Are people just having babies? Am I behind? 1:31 p.m. Even Stevens actress Christy Carlson Ramono shared on Instagram that she was shot in the face and that the shot was less than 1 millimeter from permanently blinding her.
So I got shot in the eye. It was not fun. I am safe. I got shot here. It is still inside. There's a fragment there. There's a fragment here. We cleaned that out. I'm very grateful to first responders as a whole. I mean, they're just the most amazing superhero-like people to take care of us at our most desperate times. And so I'm grateful to St. David's South here in Austin.
That is crazy. And finally, at 1:32 p.m., the Associated Press, or you guys might know it as the AP, was banned from covering an event in the Oval Office today with Trump because they were told that they had not aligned their editorial standards with Trump's executive orders on changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. You know what? This is the president of free speech, though, am I right? All right, surprisingly, all the news stopped at 1:30 p.m. today, so that's what I've got to share with you. I will hopefully see you tomorrow. It's my first day in office since I started doing these daily podcasts, so we'll see what that timing looks like. We'll figure it out. I'm holding your hands, and we're figuring it out together. Either way, if you want to find me on social media, I'm on TikTok and YouTube at I've Been Traveling. I'm on Instagram and Threads at Ben Keenan. You can find me here on the podcast at Ben Keenan Just Can't Stop Talking. But until then, go outside and take a walk. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye.